It's all gonna be about empowering each other. We have to be elevated. If we don't elevate ourselves, no one's gonna elevate us. I mean, there's studio levels not looking at us like, how can I elevate the Chicanos? That's not gonna happen. We have to do it ourselves. And one of the mistakes that a lot of Latino Chicano creators make is that they think that the players that are at the top, the A-listers, they think that they could help pull them up. They get mad if George Lopez doesn't take their script, or Evan Longoria, or Mario Lopez, or Emilio, or Eddie, or Danny Trejo. They get mad, like, or they have these ideas, like, I could just get my script. They're getting hit all the time. All those people get hit up all the time, so they have to put boundaries around it, because it's a hard business. So they have to protect themselves, and they themselves are still chasing the bag. They got to take care of their own stuff. The only way we're going to be elevated is when we lock arms and do it together. That's the only way. So I tell people all the time, you want to get up to that level, then lock it up, and let's do it together. Let's elevate each other. Let's build each other up. And the moment we do that, everything changes, because now our life has purpose and focus. That's all people need, purpose and focus. And Chicano Hollywood, I love our events. I love Elevate the Latino Voice, because it helps us kind of dial in. So it's like a reunion.
And then there was lights, camera, action.
Chicano Hollywood!
Like, what's Chicano Hollywood, right? You know, and I tell them straight up, I said, look, it wasn't like I sat around and had a marketing plan. It was nothing like that. I didn't bring in business consultants, nothing like that. I've been in Hollywood now 17 years, and I've been, producing and had different clients and so on. In that journey is when I realized that the Chicano voice wasn't being heard and wasn't being respected. There was all these stereotypes and so on, a lot of, chatter about we have to change the narrative. All those words were popping out, right? But then I began to realize, not only we're not being respected, we're not being greenlit. There was other Latino voices, Latinx voices, Latina voices, that they were being greenlit, and their shows would last maybe one season, and then they get canceled because nobody's watching. And so when Chicano Hollywood started, because I was a pastor for 23 years, and I came with my family to Hollywood 17 years ago as part of a calling, I didn't know exactly what that journey would lead me to, where now I found myself 4 years ago on a set called Chatos Old Milk, that I saw Chicanos in front of the camera, Chicanos behind the camera. And when I nicknamed that group Chicano Hollywood, I saw how they connected to it. And the reason they connected to it is because they were finally being seen, being heard, and there was a justice that came to that. So when I tell people, it's not a business, this is my calling, this is my ministry. I don't have a pulpit, I don't have a church, I don't have that, but I have Chicano Hollywood. And my mission is to make sure that the Chicano voice is platformed in every space of culture. And in film and TV, I just want to get us to where we should be, because we were here first. So it's important to me. So the business, it is set up that way. But this is my calling from God to build our gente up,
So the first time I met Johnny, he was a nice enough guy, knew a good amount about producing and about the industry. What really got me going more and got me excited to work with him is that he really is like a family man, and he is a man of his word. And trust me, in being in Hollywood and being in the industry, almost in any industry, it's hard to find men who are really of their word. And no matter what, he really tries for you. He really tries, not only for you, the person, but for the community itself. Like, it's a passion. This isn't glamorous. It's hard. It's a very, very hard thing to try to organize an entire community. It's very, very difficult. And if you don't love it, honestly, don't even try. But he really is a very passionate guy. And he's a family guy. Like, he has his daughter and he has his wife. And it's very sincere. And there's no other way to say this, but like, it has to be a calling from God. Like, I know this thing, he talks about God, and he talks about his calling from God. A lot of times you go, yeah, dude, right. But when it's this hard, it has to be a calling. It really does.
So it's my boy Francisco. We've had this idea popping for a while. He hit me up about a year, 2 years ago. He says, you ever thought about doing this? I said, yeah, I have thought about it, but we have a lot of those things going on, and I don't want to compete. And I like to make sure everybody has space to do their stuff. And then we kept going and going. Then I thought, all right, you know what? For the most part, what I want to do is let's make sure we create more opportunity for our filmmakers to have a place that they can do that.
So back in 2023, I'm still a producer, right? So I still have my other production side. So I got busy with some stuff. So, Chicano Hollywood was still kind of growing on social media and building. So in June, I remember, I think it was like May, I had this idea, man, I felt like I disconnected from people, and I thought, because I was busy, and I said, you know what, let's do a producer's lunch. Let's just call whoever wants to come together and get tacos, right? So I called my church and I said, hey, can we meet in like the parking lot area? They have tables and all that. And if I bring a taco, taquero, and they said, sure, how many people do you think? I said, maybe 25, right? So I didn't know. So I put a post up. Anyone want to meet together? We'll talk about, the business and we'll get some tacos, just pay $20 because I can't buy everybody tacos. Pay $20 and we'll get tacos. And we had it for June. And I remember as it was coming, maybe a handful of people were signing up. But 2 days before, because Raza, all of them started coming in, right? But we had like 200 people show up. I'm calling my taquero. I said, bro, I need more tacos, bro. You better be prepared. And he goes, no, I'm ready. I'll be ready. So 200 people showed up. So I asked my church, hey, can we move it inside? So we went inside, had a great meeting. Like the night before, my daughter Betania and I were putting an agenda together. It came out amazing. We had started at 10, at 12:30 we had tacos, and that's it. I remember people coming up to me, that's it? I'm like, yeah. Let's do this again, let's do more. We should do 2-3 days. So that night, I thought, why not? Let's do a conference, right? In ministry, when I was a pastor and a youth leader, I would do big conferences. I'd have 2,000 people show up, right? And so I would do this every year, and so doing a level of conference that way was easy for me. So I said, let's try it. So we said, let's, what do we call this? Elevate the Latino voice, right? So I call it the Latino voice. I want everyone to feel included, not just like when you say Chicano, people trip, say, oh, I'm not Chicano, or whatever. Elevate the Latino voice. So we did that like 4 months later, June, January, February, and September, and it freaked me out because again, who's gonna come? I had all these panels set up, and then 500 people show up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this place is packed. It was great, it was amazing, and it just took us all to a new level, Edward James almost showed up. He spoke on a panel, Luis Guzman, Emilio Rivera, Lisa Vidal, Diana. I mean, we had just amazing, Chelsea Rendon, all these amazing speakers, and they just empowered everybody by sharing their stories, right? It was such a great event. And so we did that again in 2024. We had all kinds of panels, and it was just an empowering time. What I love about those events is people meet each other there, and then they work. Like, for example, there was just not too long ago, a little showcase event. There was 3 short films that all directors came together to show their short films together. They had a big event, they had a mixer and all that. But all 3 of those people, from what I understand, say that they met each other at Elevate. They connected, they said, let's work together, and then we created these short films. So that's probably the number one value I see and I love is that we connect with each other and then we empower each other by working together.
So from the Elevate conference, there's a lot of speakers, people who need to learn about new different techniques. If you're an actor, want to learn how to write, there's something to talk about there or produce, their marketing. It really is something for everybody and everybody to congregate and get to know each other. Here's an interesting story. So if you're familiar with punk rock back in the 70s, there's a band called the Ramones. And the Ramones barely started, and they were touring all over, and they toured to England. And when they were in England, they were in a small club, literally 20 people in the club. From those 20 people, every one of those people started a band, which included The Cure, which included Susie Sue, which included Billy Idol. All these people started a band from that one concert. And all those people actually made an impact. So imagine that tenfold coming down and having people congregate and seeing what's possible and hearing inspirational words from people who've done it, which is something you don't hear and you don't see. And it's been pretty amazing.
Write for what you have, not for what you want, right? If you have a liquor store, if your dad owns a liquor store and you got an apartment and you got a car, that's where you're writing your story. I saw a fascinating film called Elephant Shoes once. And if you say elephant shoes, it looks like I love you. And it was a story of two people that met on a sidewalk, and it was called Elephant Shoes, and it was shot in one apartment, and it was gut-wrenchingly beautiful, and I cried when he left the next day. So it doesn't take much. It's just about making it compelling. It needs to be on the page. That's where you should put all of your energy, because when your resources are paper thin, you have to make sure that you have the best possible story, because that's where you're going to attract actors, that's where you're going to attract camera people, that's where you're going to attract people that are going to believe in you, because the story that you're trying to tell is unique and it's achievable.
Cool. Let's do it.
You get it.
How you feeling?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
Just heads up.
But I think
Yeah, we got it.
it's gonna be new. I think we could do this and at least like get set up for the next scene for
Yeah.
lunch.
Yeah. Cool.
Sweet, let's go. Come on, guys. Let's go play.
We are always walking on water. And so that really is just a testament to how we see Chicano Hollywood every day. We see like the big numbers, we see the masses, but at Elevate Conference, we see it in person. And so it's kind of just like a physical representation and reminder of what this community can do and what we're really capable of, especially with the people that we bring in. We try, or at least I try to prioritize not just the actors. We love when actors come in and get to share a bit about their journey, but for us, we also like to prioritize like the casting directors, the producers, really the green lighters in the industry. There's so many gatekeepers in traditional Hollywood system, but when we take a look at the Latinos that have made it far in the traditional system, we find the ones that are willing to come and share with us and really give us a glimpse into what we're going into.
We're in a world nowadays where the power is in your hands. The creator economy is an absolute real thing. That is the industry you should be thinking about, which is the industry of you, the industry of your heart. What's getting you out of bed on Monday? You see, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, we can't do the big things without the little things. So while I'm working towards getting that Emmy and everything, okay, what was David doing in 2004? In 2005, I was doing extra work. I was a waiter for 15 years. I was struggling, but I was spending every single dollar that I had to produce short films so I could learn how to sharpen my knives. So here we are 20 years later. Now I'm an Emmy-nominated showrunner. Great.
But needless to say, when you're trying to build anything, if you have people around you that they don't have a lot of resources, you're going to struggle. So now it goes back to you. Are you willing to pay the price? I paid the price in ministry. I paid the price in missions. I've been to countries like Cuba. I've been right after the tsunami in India. I took a team out there and we helped immediately with that big tsunami that happened, decades ago now. And so, it's always a work of faith. It's always a sacrifice, always. With Chicano Hollywood, it hasn't been easy. I do have my CFO. He's like my Miko, right? My homie. He's a white boy, right? And he's married to a Chicano. And so he he goes, I love what you're doing. How can I get behind it? I said, dude, give me some feria, right? So he's invested into it. I've invested my money into it. We're the two mainly that put the money in. Everyone else participating in volunteering and all that and working the best they can. But it's been a struggle. People don't see the behind the scenes. And I'm okay with that though. I want them to feel the growth of the movement. But like anything, there's growing pains. So sacrifices do happen. There's times right now we're building across the nation. So there's times if I go by myself, I'm gonna sleep in a car. I don't care about sleeping in a car. I don't care about sleeping in a truck stop. My wife and daughter come, I gotta get a hotel. So yeah, it's different. But to save money, I'll do that because I can handle that. There's times where, we are in a bind financially because of whatever things might be. We pay it off. We get things taken care of. But when you're building, if you want to get it done, you have a choice. You can either wait for money to come or just start building. And when you start building, money's going to come. So now 4 years into it, with all that we've built, streaming platform, our Chicano Hollywood Netflix, right? But it's our Chicano Hollywood TV. Our masterclass platform, our different other business lines that we have. So now, our following now, businesses are knocking on my door saying, how can we get involved, So we're in a good spot now, but it took us 4 years. And even now, it's still a struggle, but the stuff we want to do, but it's worth it. If I know I can empower somebody like this whole crew, or empower anyone that's aspiring to do this, or help someone elevate, it's worth it. Chicano Hollywood was dedicated to helping the student, the middle-aged, older age that was stuck in a warehouse taking care of their family, but now they're ready to get into it. And then the higher levels. I had a call from a funder. He says, I need Latino scripts that are in the 5 to 10 million range. Who do you got? So I made phone calls to people that I know that can handle that. And I set up meetings. And one of them today, they had a really good meeting. They might get funded for a $10 million script. That's the range that Chicano Hollywood has now, where people hit us up saying, okay, you're a force. And I say, all glory to God. We're just a movement of people that have locked arms together. That's it. I tell people all the time, the days are over when Latinos step on each other to get to the next level. Now we have to lock arms and do it together.
I found them through social media, like everybody else, and I was noticing that they were impacting. They were talking about the community. They were pushing, really speaking to me, which is not often happens. As a Chicano filmmaker, you don't hear even the mention of Chicano of anything else. So that really intrigued me. And after that, I spoke to Johnny, and we talked about basically the mutualness of what we're trying to do in general for Hollywood, for the entertainment industry. And ever since then, I've noticed the community getting tighter, getting bigger, going nationwide, the excitement behind it, which hasn't happened, honestly, since I've been doing this for 30 years. I haven't seen it happen ever. When it happens in really short spurts, like in the moment, or like they talk about it for a few months, but every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the excitement behind it is even bigger, because so many people who don't even know about, oh my God, there's more of us out there. Somebody can actually talk about my struggles, and it really is kind of amazing what they've been doing, and they continue to do, and it's still the tip of the iceberg of what's going on.
My dream, when it's all said and done, like we're building now, right? Two things happen in business. One is you just keep growing, and you just keep going. Sometimes you stale. This, in Hollywood, with technology business like what we have, platform business like we have, there's always acquisition possibilities, right? That means Viacom, Fox, Universal, so say, hey man, you got the Chicano Latino community in your lane, we want them, we're gonna buy you. Actually, I was warned by an executive level, studio level person that told me, watch your back, we're watching you. Someone's gonna come and acquire you. And I said, what if I say no? They said, you don't have a choice. They said you can negotiate, but if you say no, they're going to smear your name and they're going to duplicate you. I was told that by a high-level studio exec, and he still follows us, right? So he's cool, we're cool, but that's what he warned me, because they're watching you. He's a black guy, right? So they don't want us to own stuff. That's what was his approach. He says, but they're watching you. So acquisition I'm preparing for. At first, I'm like, oh, heck no, this is ours. But I got to be smart, because them duplicating, if that happens, I'm okay with that. Because all that means is that the Chicano voice has been elevated to a position that everybody wants a Chicano genre. Netflix needs to have a Chicano genre. Amazon Studios needs to have a Chicano genre. Movies produced by Chicanos, movies acted with Chicanos. They need to have that, right? And so by being duplicated, I'm good with it. By being acquired, that means there's a rainfall of money, and that means everyone that's connected with me, that we have business relationships, I'm gonna invest in all of theirs, and people are gonna be elevated. And I'm gonna make sure everybody gets a first look deal for whoever acquires us. So if I die before all that happens, then my daughter and my team will take it over. They'll keep the vision going. But they know that the goal isn't to make money. It's not to build a business. The goal is to elevate us. And when I know that we are in the position that we should be, I don't compete with other Latinos, but we were here first, so there should be no reason why we're last. So when I know that we're at that point, that we are contenders, and we are gatekeepers at the studio level, and we are also gatekeepers of our own destiny, and we are producing our content, and our content has gone from niche to general audience. When all that happens, I know that job well done. God said, hey, you did what I told you to do. That means our community was elevated. Our community was redeemed. I mean, that means the injustices that happened to our community as a whole has now been dealt with justice and with reward, because now young people like you guys and then old people like me can get into the destiny that we're supposed to be. God gave us gifts to create, to do art, to do film, to tell stories. But because of the way la vida is, we're in warehouses, we're in jobs, we're on the farm, we're in the canneries, and we couldn't do it because we didn't have opportunities. But now, if I can just open those doors and make the playing field equal, where it's our skills that get us there, our network that gets us there, and so on and so forth, then I know that we did our job. So at the end of the day, when the Chicano voice is elevated and we are where we should be, then I'm good with it. Give me a cherry Coke and a cheeseburger and I'm retired.
This is just advice in general for anything. Anybody that wants to do something, you can. There's nothing stopping you. Some roads are easier, some roads are harder. It doesn't matter. Nobody's opinion should stop you. Nothing we see online, nothing is easy. If you really want it, nothing is easy. You just have to go through it. And at the end, believe it or not, it's way better than you ever thought. No matter what it is, whether you want to be a cop or a lawyer or a doctor or work as a mechanic, it doesn't really matter. Like, what matters is what you want to do in life. And like the arts is slightly different. Some things get quicker, some things take longer. But at the end, if you do what you love to do, that's all that really matters. So you just shouldn't stop, you just keep going. Failures are just opportunities. There's no such thing. They're just opportunities to be better.
I would think the best advice I could give people is, number one, give yourself permission to fail. The moment you give yourself permission to fail, you can accomplish anything. You'll risk anything. Number two is make sure you find a purpose, because just the idea of waking up with no purpose at all, that's depressing. So find a purpose. And if you think, I don't know what it is, you know what you're passionate about. If you're complaining about something, whether it be the way the school system is or the way businesses are or whatever it might be, whatever you're complaining about is probably God saying, hey, I want you to bring a solution to that. So find your purpose and just figure out what that is, what you're passionate about. Number three, you have to skill yourself. We already have things coming against us as a raza. You have to be the best. There are people in the highest points of Hollywood right now that are Chicanos, and they're the best. They're good at what they do, but there's not enough of us. So the path has already been sent. It's already laid out. It's already there. You just have to start skilling yourself. So take classes, do training, whatever your lane might be, get in there, get on a set, do it for free. Just be in front of a camera, behind a camera, and just get it done. You will be rewarded for that, but you got to pay your dues. Got to put in your 10,000 hours. Look that up, 10,000 hours. It's a book. Read that book, put in your 10,000 hours, right? And the last thing is you can't do it by yourself. Don't step on us to get to the next level, because it's not that way anymore. Don't burn bridges. Hollywood, I tell people all the time, Hollywood is a small town. Chicano Hollywood is an even smaller barrio. Everybody knows each other. So don't burn bridges. Make friends. Stay out of the drama. Don't get caught up. I completely stay out of domestics. I had 2 phone calls today. These 2 homies are at odds with each other. They got issues. I'm doing business with both of them because I'm like, dudes, that's your problem. That's not mine. So I stay out of the drama and I just don't get involved in domestics. Keep a clean head, stay out of the drama, stay focused and be the best, because if it's in you to do it, it's gonna happen.